Welcome to the regular edition of the First Look Seminar, and it's the day before the Preakness. We have no Gino Bacola, so I'm going to come to you, Sure Shot Scatoni, first. What's happening, my friend?
No fearsome foursome, so I guess it's just the terrific trio.
Right.
All good. You know me, I'm all about those low takeout wagers. DoubleTroubleLive.com. $3 all turf, $3 late pick three, $5 late double. If you read my matrix today, you did pretty good. We had both the all turf and the late pick three. Didn't pay a heck of a lot, but play it multiple times. It pays off very, very nice. So great bets. I can't speak enough about them. So hats off to Santa Anita for giving players like us an opportunity to win more consistently, but also hit big scores.
Right.
Speaking of big scores, Skipper had a nice play last week on Saturday, closing out the day. And Skipper, double trouble. They're all about those 15% low takeout bets, and they crush them every weekend.
Yeah, like Sure Shot said, they're great bets, low takeout. They're fun. We're so glad Santa Anita does it, and we just want to hit them, and we want to hit them multiple times to make a big score. Should be a great weekend of racing, especially tomorrow. Santa Anita's got a great late pick five, and got the Preakness stakes and some other great racing too. So I can't wait to go over the late pick five at Santa Anita.
Yep, well, as Skip said, the Preakness is tomorrow, but we are concentrating, as always, on the late pick five at Santa Anita, which starts in race 6. Frankie boy, we're coming back to you to kick it off. State Bred Maiden 12-5 starting it off. What's your thoughts here in race 6?
Well, let me talk about the sequence in general for just a second. It always scares me when a sequence looks very logical to the way I handicap. Not necessarily chalky horses, but horses that just jump off the page to me. I'm not going to be right in all 5 of the races with my strongest opinion, right? So I'm going to rely on you guys to be a little bit clever because I do have strong opinions in 4 of the 5 races. The nightcap is a little bit of a scramble for me, but if I'm going tight and I'm right about the early races, I'm going to have tickets where I can open it up into the last leg. And if I'm wrong about my strong opinions, what do? We come back, late pick 3, late double, or even the late pick 4 if you get knocked out of the first leg. So I'm all about the 5 here, Conquest Sioux. I know there are some others who look interesting and who have every chance to win, but we talk a lot about this on the show, how barns go hot and cold. They run through their conditions. They're pointing to a certain meet. Skip mentioned Andy Mathis a couple of weeks ago. He was unbettable at Hollywood, on fire to start the Classic meet. Unbettable at Classic, on fire to Hollywood. Getting his stock geared up. He's hot. Look at Peter Urton. I mean, this guy is – not that he was terrible during the Classic meet, but he was, just steady 12% or whatever. He is sending out live horses. I actually liked this horse last time against much tougher claimers. Those were open 20s. These are Calbred 12.5. Jaramillo has ridden this horse 3 times. He's not going to get off now for the money run. I am all about this horse. I think if you want to single in this race, that's the horse that I would single with. And then, you can mention a couple of others, but like I said, I want to plant some flags here. And if I'm right, I'm going to get paid if I catch my bombs in the last leg.
All right, Skipper. So Frank is all about the 5 Conquest Sioux 7-2 on the morning line. He likes those matrix. He's got a lot of A's singled on the 5 there. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I'm going to use a couple other ones. 5 is definitely the top play for all the reasons Frank said. A couple others that I'm going to use on my ticket. I'm going to use the 1, Twisted Humor. Breaks from the rail again. Jesus Uranga claims this horse, and not only does he claims it, he claims it for himself. He does very well over at Los Al. These are Los Al connections. Hector Barrios is going to jump aboard, which I love. So I think he might be able to move this horse up. Jeff Bondi's a good trainer and stuff, but boy, he's had a tough go of it lately, winning at 4%. So I think the trainer change here will help this horse. 1's definitely going to be on my ticket. Another one I'm going to use is I'm going to use the 3, Cammie's Girl. This horse goes from route to sprint, which I like. It should have that stamina if these get a little late, two best races of her career were both sprinting back at Del Mar to break or start the main, and then when Dan Blacker had it back in February. So I just think with the drop in class, the cutting back in distance, I'm going to use the 3 also, and then the 5's the other one. I'm going 1-3-5 to start things off.
All right, so 1-3-5 for Skipper, and looks like maybe the 1 gets the lead early, or maybe the blinkers on with the 2-horse keeps them company early. Sure shot.
Yeah, that's kind of how I saw it. I wasn't as bullish about the 1 as Skip was, but if Skip's giving that horse a push, I mean, I'd be silly not to use. And I do have my A's and B's here. I do have Cammie's Girl as a B. I think if the race starts to slow down late, she should be grinding away, super fit. And to Skip's point, I mean, those 2 sprint races are actually really good, and those are against Calbred 50s. I mean, this is as slow as you get on this circuit. So she has a huge chance as well. I'm not going to be stubborn. I'm on a single the 5 on most of my tickets, but I could also play backups to the 1-3-5 because I do have other potential singles later in the card as well.
Skipper, we move on to race 7. We're going a mile on the turf here. Optional claimers, non-winners of 1. What are your thoughts in race 7?
My top play in here is going to be the 5, Midnight Strike. Rosario won a few today. He's come out since he's moved back west. He's on fire. He's doing really good. That was a great move for him. This horse ran sneaky good last time. Was coming off a break. First of all, I liked the main breaker on February 13th. I know it got a great setup that day, but I love the way that this horse ran and finished. I like the breeding. It's a 5-year-old gelding. They gave it a little time after that. And it almost looked like, he had this 3-wide trip on the backside in the far turn. He was getting a little tired late, but not giving it up. And I like the way that he galloped out. I think he'll move forward off that race. He's come back and he's worked 3 times, the 25th, May 2nd, and May 9th. I love that. I love Rosario jumping aboard. And he galloped out actually with City Exile, who had trouble in that race, and actually galloped out a little bit better, I thought. So I think that horse will move up second off the break. I love Rosario getting aboard, and I love the price at 8-1. Another one I'm going to mention is the 1, Rearm John. Now, listen, this horse has won 3 out of 6. I know those were all sprints. With Ricky Gonzalez aboard, there's one thing to do, and they are going to the front, and they're going to see how long that they could stay there. So if the 1 gets loose, maybe gets a little breather, I'm going to have the 1 on my ticket. The price is 10-1. I got to use City Exile too. I don't like the price, but it ran really good. It bumped hard at the start, lost path, came galloping, came running, galloped out well. The horse that beat him in Midnight Strike is Call Me Corey for Hanson. And I tell you what, that horse goes fast early and just keeps going and gallops out 15 or 20 lengths in front of everybody. That horse could run. And so I love that race that both of those are coming out. So all that being said, I'm going to go 1-5-6 and try to get out of this race.
All right, so 1-5-6, a couple of comments there. City Exile, Frank, 8-5 in the morning line. Tough. The horse likes to be the bridesmaid a lot in races with 7 seconds. And then Skip was saying about Rosario, I think sometimes not only the change of scenery, but it was right for somebody else to come out here, right? And I think it was a good move all around for Rosario to come out west.
100%. Sometimes, excuse me, sometimes you get into a little bit of a funk, you go through a little bit of a slump. And with jockeys, I mean, this is a fickle business. You're only as good as the last winner you rode. So if you start to go in a little bit of a slump, you don't get the calls anymore. Someone else is, come here, he's hungry. He's going to get good mounts. I mean, he's a fantastic rider when he's at his best and his head's in the game. He didn't come out here to be lazy. He came out here with renewed interest. I have no problem with Rosario. I do think it's a great move. But I want to talk about Midnight Strike for a second. As the great George O once said, Neil Drysdale doesn't win races. Does not win races. Let me tell you about the cafeteria story with a fish on a plate. Which, by the way, I've done a lot of shows. I've hosted a lot of shows. That will go down as my all-time favorite racetrack story ever, because not only was it hysterical, but he ends up hitting the pick six with his single in the nightcap.
Yes.
Yeah.
Beating the Drysdale horse. But anyway, thank you for opening my eyes a little bit on number 5, Midnight Strike, Skip, because I looked at that horse a lot because I automatically gravitated to number 6. Not because I was being lazy, but because I see this race. If they run this race 10 times, I see the scenario happening like 8 times. Rearm John has no choice but to go, and that horse is a fast sprinter. But Paxa Wallop has to keep him honest, right? You can't let Rearm John get 5-6 lengths clear. So I think Paxa Wallop ends up doing the dirty work, pushes Rearm John. They go a little faster than they would like. I think they cancel each other out, and it sets up, in my mind, the way I see the race for a closer. And I think City Exile has, I would say Lahaina Flavor used to have the best closing kick in the race, but that horse is off form, a big question mark. City Exile, in my opinion, has the second best closing kick in the race. I know the horse needed restricted starter foes to get the third win, but this horse is always right around the wire. I know Papa's cooled off a little bit, but he's still winning races. JJ takes the call. I agree with Skip. I'm not crazy about 8-5, but I think that horse is a very, very likely winner. If it's not that horse, then I really believe you can make a case for a lot of these. I won't, but I will mention number 2, King of Clubs. That horse is a price play for me. He's a 5-year-old coming off a very long layoff. Mark Latt is one of the best trainers, in my opinion, ever to bring a horse back ready to fire fresh off the bench. Now, typically, he's much better with his sprinters than he is with his routers. This one might need one. But if you go back and look at those 2 Calbred victories, this horse is coming home in 11 and change and 23 flat. And Pratt was riding, and Pratt wasn't riding any tomato cans. He was always on good horses. So I think that horse has sneaky ability. I'm willing to forgive the race before he ended up hitting the bench. Something went wrong. He wasn't bet. Lahaina Flavor beat the horse. I just think if Glatt does have this horse ready to run, that horse could be the sneaky upset in this field if the race unfolds the way I'm envisioning.
All right, so Frankie's a 2-6 or Spreadsville, and as we move on to race 8, Frank, we're coming right back to you. Another maiden 12-5 state breds once again in race 8. What are your thoughts here?
Oh, this is a tough one because it's all about number 7, right? I mean, this horse will probably be 3-5, and it's sink or swim. I've bet this horse in the Calbred maiden special weight ranks. How can I not bet this horse taking the precipitous drop? If Kimura or somebody else were still, on this horse, I'd be like, all right, well, O'Neill, just to give away whatever. I think O'Neill just wants to get a win. I know he had a win today, but coming into today, he was in a little bit of a slump, right? He had a terrific classic meet, a little bit of a slump on the win end. His horses were firing 3 seconds, 7 thirds, but before today, coming into this, he was 4%. Sometimes you just need a boop and a blast, as they say in baseball, right? You just get somebody on base, right? I know he got a win today, but I think he entered this horse and dropped this horse for that reason. Let's get a win. Let's get the positive momentum going again. And look who he goes to. He goes to Jaramillo. I don't think Jaramillo is going to ride this horse if the horse wasn't well-intentioned today. But I'm not telling you – I mean, look, the horse is even money on the morning line. This is not groundbreaking information. I will most likely single that horse, but if you want some alternatives, I would look at the 4 and the 5. The 4, really solid debut. This horse ran in a maiden special at Turf Paradise. I know those aren't the toughest races in the world, but running for 12-5 today, the way she did it at Turf Paradise, it's not how a 12-5 horse runs. She made a nice move. She finished up strongly. She won going long on turf at first asking. That's not an easy thing to do for a classy horse, let alone a horse that is now running for 12-5. I think Marquez is not messing around. He's just like, look, let's get a win. If someone claims her, great. We have a nice little payday. Let's put up Ricky, put her in the race, and see what happens. And then number 5, Waiting for My Cue. Again, another, this is a dropper. Powell takes over for Wright. Blaine Wright debuted her against much better horses, and she took money in that race. So she was well-intentioned. So somebody liked something that day. It's coming off a long layoff. Look, this isn't really Powell's jam. This is not what he excels at. But again, she's a 4-year-old. He's going to put this horse where she can win. So those would be my alternatives. But gosh, I'm dying to hear what Skip has to say about the 7, because if Skip's all about the single here, I'm not going to waste my time on the other horses.
Yeah, so 7, 4, 5, and as you said, O'Neill's had a rough go of it. He did have a very impressive win by a 2-year-old first timer today for Purple Rain Racing, which is the Bus family. But maybe that got him. Sometimes it only takes one, Frank. The light bulb goes back on.
Hit the blast. Yep.
Skipper.
Yeah, Jaramillo getting aboard this. All systems are probably go, right? They have a great percentage with one another. He rides all O'Neill's live ones, but I just can't do it. I mean, you don't trust the horse. I don't trust it.
Fair enough.
When he goes from maiden special weight to maiden claim means he wins 30% of the time. So maybe I'm overthinking this, but I love when they go turf to dirt and route to sprint. So the 4 and the 7 are definitely going to be on the ticket. I just, the 5 is a 4-year-old. I know Frank's a big looker in that 4-year-old, especially earlier in the year. Now we're getting, the middle or whatever, but not quite. But anyway, so I just don't trust the 7. So I'm going to go 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I'm going to mention the 6 because Frank didn't mention that. This horse looks terrible on the form. Los Al, they bet it a little bit. Ran terrible, got beat a mile. Last time reared up, lost the rider at the break. They didn't bet it that day. But, Peter Miller's been kind of heating up. He was kind of on a cold streak. I mean, he's not on fire, but his horses are running well. And this horse gets first-time Lasix. So I don't know if it's a bleeder or what, but the Lasix has got to help this horse. So I like the workout pattern coming back. It hasn't missed a beat in the morning, the 11th, the 18th, the 25th, the 2nd, the 9th. I got to use that one. And then the last one, I'm going to use the 8 horse. This horse gets off the rail for Vladimir Serin. They bet it that day. It was 3-1, was a step slow, moved up, and kind of got tired. That horse has come back and hasn't missed a beat in the mornings. I'm hoping it will prove, drop down in class, going from inside to outside. I don't trust the 7. Maybe I'm overthinking it, like I said, but I'm going to go 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 in here. Because I think if you beat the 7.
Yeah, I mean, that's the key to the whole sequence.
Right.
Like, you open everything up if you beat the 7. The 7 is going to be a single on so many tickets. Right. And if you have any doubts about the horse, you have to try to beat the horse. So, I mean, I'm hearing everything you're saying, and I agree with you on all the horses. I actually had the Peter Miller horse as my 3rd B, but my only comment was you just have to treat that horse like a first-time starter. Pretend those races never even happened, right? But it's hard for me to know. I'm not a big workout guy, but you do have that bullet at San Luis Rey, so that's interesting. Right. And maybe this horse is live. Peter Miller doesn't put a Hernandez; he puts a Baguiar because he wants everybody to forget about the horse. Right. So it could be sneaky, very sneaky. But it all depends on what you think of the 7.
Let me ask you this. What do you think the 7's final odds are going to be? 3-5?
Yeah, I think so.
3-5 at the most, right? 2-5, 3-5, probably?
Yeah, I'd say about 3-5, 1-2. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, just because, I mean, you really have to read between the lines on some of these other contenders, right? There's no super obvious one as an alternate, right? Because you have the Turf Paradise horse, you have the Powell horse coming off a long layoff. You got the Serin horse who didn't ran half a race, but broke from the rail against Tougher, right? These are horses that a lot of people are going to gravitate toward. So the easiest thing to do, the path of least resistance, is the even money single 3-5. But beating that horse is the key to everything.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. It's fascinating.
Or you go 3 A's, Frank, and you just hammer it.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do 3 A's with an even money shot. I would
No,
single
no,
it if
I'm
I,
kidding.
yeah, no, I know, but I like it because I want to mention this because I'd like to talk this kind of strategy because sometimes I forget myself. But I would recommend if you could play that horse as an A if you really like it, but you should have some backup tickets going because if Tate Bats doesn't win and then your A's win the rest of the way and this thing pays, $18,000, you're going to be sick.
Yep, no doubt. Yep. All right, whose turn is it? I forgot. Race 9. We're going down the hill in the misdirection. Skipper, what are your thoughts here? We always love the down the hill races. Good race here, full field. Any thoughts?
My thought is I'm going to try to beat Queen Maxima. I don't know if we can. I mean, she's a freak. She's a monster. She's won 5 out of 7 coming down the hill, 8 out of 15 lifetime. But here's the thing. When they gave her time, she came back in the Monrovia. I mean, she didn't have trouble. She broke from the rail, but it was only a 6-horse field. She got beat 2 lengths. Maybe that was a prep going into the Churchill Downs race, but I don't know.
Well,
she's fine.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but that was the race where they had introduced new protocols where they had to go over the dirt. So JJ didn't realize that. So he went all the way up to the gate and they said, we're going to scratch you unless you go all the way back down and go over the dirt again. So I don't know if that's an excuse or not, but Mullins did make a point to say that, she walked 3 miles before she got to start.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Then she goes to Churchill. She didn't have any trouble. I mean, I know that was a much, much tougher race, but now she comes back. She hasn't worked. It's kind of quick coming back. So I just think that's a big question mark. And this is another one that people see 4 to 5, the public. Guess what? They're going to try to single these horses. I mean,
no doubt.
The general public, the handicappers, these are the ones we're trying to beat. So I'm going to try to beat her. I almost want a single Spirited Boss. Yes. I love the way that she won. And that's what I might do. At least on one of my tickets. Her first time, I thought she would like coming down the hill. And boy, did she ever. I know, listen, Turning for Home, the Red Sea opened. She just stayed on the rail and it opened right up for her. But still, she showed some gameness, getting up and catching Amarita, who was on a lone lead that, and then what I really liked is the way that she galloped out. I know a lot of people don't really pay a lot of attention or think they're overrated gallop outs. I'm a big gallop out believer. And I love the way that she galloped out. She loves to win. And look at her races. I mean, she's good. She's won 5 out of 10, 3 out of 6. She got beat by Sweet Rebecca, that really nice Brendan Walsh horse. And then there was a couple that she had trouble, but this 6.5 hits her right between the eyes. And Money Mike Smith rode her great. I think he's going to ride her great again. She's the only thing that I thought about, like, did they keep her out here? But they didn't. They shipped her back cross country to Florida. But look she worked on the 3rd and worked on the 9th 6 days later. Yeah. And then they bring her over. She's got to be doing great, right? Otherwise, they wouldn't do it. So she's going to be a single on one of my tickets. But the other one, I'm going to mention a couple others. I'm going to mention the 3 who comes out of that same race. Amarita for Richard Mandela. His barn is starting to heat up. He had a winner today. This horse ran really good, led every step of the way, got beat by Spirited Boss. I know there's other speed in here, but that horse doesn't need to be on the lead. It's got some versatility. 6 to 1. Got to be on my ticket. Queen Maxima, I'll put on my other ticket. And then I'm going to put Antifona, the 7 at 20 to 1 on my spread ticket, just because she has won coming down the hill before. I like the Wilshire race that she comes out of with Rashmi. I like her cutting back in distance to this hill, which she likes. If they do happen to go real fast up front, she's going to come motoring home. I don't know if she could get there, but on one of my tickets, she's going to be on. And then Certitude will be on the other one. Just breaking from the outside. John Sadler's had a tough meet. but he puts Rosario. They both won one today, I believe.
That's right. Yeah.
Taken from the outside. So my single on one ticket's going to be Spirited Boss, and I'm going to come back and play another one, and I'm going to use the 3, 6, 7, and 9.
Frankie, we always talk about obviously the hill being, the horses either love it or hate it, and so you got Spirited Boss there, and then obviously Queen Maxima, who's so talented and so classy, but she just traveled across country and ran 2 weeks ago. So, and another huge favorite. So, your thoughts?
Yeah, I say this all the time with these downhill races. I always start from the outside post in, because the outside post has a significant advantage because of the dog leg and the way the course is configured. It's unlike any other course in America. And to Skip's point, they either love it or they hate it. And look, I know Jeff Mullins had an excuse for Queen Maxima, but Spirited Boss was awesome that day. I mean, there was zero pace. Amarita was walking the dog. It was a glacial pace. She was in last place, 4.5, and she still closed into slow fractions. Not only did she close, but her come home time is ridiculously fast. Jose D'Angelo probably said, I'm going to ship her out there. She's doing good. Let's win the race. Come back and we'll point to another race on the East Coast. He goes, no. I'm going to send her right back.
Right.
So I thought the same thing, Skip. I was like, I want to see if she stayed here. No. She went back, and then he's like, no, I'm going to send her back because she's doing great. She loves this course. She exploded. She ran a career best. She's a 4-year-old filly. She still has upside, in my opinion. And the way she ran down Amarita and galloped out after that, I think there's plenty left in the tank. You got Mike Smith from a good post. I think there is much more speed in this race than there was last time. So she's going to get an even better setup. I agree with Skip. Amarita does not need the lead. If you look at her Senorita, she tracked the pace and powered home. So she probably didn't want to be on the lead that day, but there was nobody else who wanted it because they were going so slow. So I'm not going to fault her for getting run down. I think she's a sneaky one for underneath, like on a B ticket. I am absolutely singling Spirited Boss. I'm going to use Amarita on a B ticket. I looked long and hard at Antifona because if there is a quick pace, I thought that horse would probably benefit the most because she's got a decent closing kick. I ended up making her a C contender, but I will upgrade her based on Skip's push. And now we get to Queen Maxima. Look, if she runs her race, she wins. There's no doubt about it. But okay, Mullins makes the excuse. She had to go up, down, up, down. She wasn't happy. She had a break from the rail, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I buy it. Fair enough. But then she went to Kentucky. Much tougher race. Yes, 5.5 was probably too short for her that day. But like the only horse who was more disappointing that day was like She's So Spicy. Like I was so surprised. Right. To me, it didn't look like Queen Maxima was ever going to win. Mm-mm. Now, Mullins said she finished up well. She came out great. She's hardly got anything out of that race. Like she's ready to run. You don't see quality turf horses run back in 2 weeks. I mean, that's pretty quick for a turf horse. So if you want to try and beat her again, I think this is a very good time, especially at 4-5. And look, yes, we can make excuses for those 2 races, but she's a 5-year-old mare. And when I always call it, when good mares go wrong, like once they decide they don't want to compete, that's it. There's no changing their mind. I'm not saying that's the case here, but right. Those were 2 of like not great races. Yes, you can make excuses, but what if they're not really excuses, right? At 4-5, I think you absolutely have to take her on. And I love Spirited Boss. I mean, I don't think Spirited Boss will be 5-1. I think she'll probably be more like 2-1. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think?
I'm going to say 3-ish. Yeah. 5-2, 3.
Yeah. I was going to say about 3-1.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was surprised the morning line was that high because she just beat, half the field.
Yeah.
She looks no worse for wear here. But anyway, I think, if you could beat Tate Batts and Queen Maxima, what looked like a very formful sequence now is chaotic and could pay exponentially more than you could imagine. So I'm with you, Skip. I think you got to try and take her on, and if she wins, tip your cap.
Right.
Yeah. Well, a lot of questions are going to be answered tomorrow with Queen Maxima, as you said, as far as how if she's turned the corner or if she's gone bad. And you know what I mean by that, like Frank mentioned. And also, Spirit of Boss kind of reminds me of last week, and I can't remember the 5 horse that everybody had a huge push on that won at 9-2. Gino loved. You guys were all going to single. Was that one?
What are you talking about? The 6 Marjoram, the Judmon horse?
No, on the grass, or maybe it was at the week. I don't know. Well, everybody loved the horse. It was. I thought it was
Marion Cross. Was it Marion Cross?
Yes.
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 Yeah, I think she's actually she's in this race. She's the one horse in this race.
Yeah, she's the one horse in that race.
I don't like her today though.
Oh yeah.
Maybe I don't know.
You guys loved her though, and that was great. All right,
Chappie, we give out so many winners here. It's really hard to keep track, man.
It is. Yeah, I can't think of my name from yesterday, let alone this horse is back in the race already. All right, let's move on. Frank, we're back to you. We're closing out with a very nice 10-horse field, a mile on the turf, state breds once again, maiden special weights, and fillies take the stage here. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, like I said earlier, if I can be tight in the beginning part of the sequence, I really want to spread in this race. I know the 10 is, obvious on figures and form, but I don't know, doesn't really excite me. Number 8, All in the Game. Again, you got an 0 for 6 maiden, you got an 0 for 7 maiden. Not horses that I really want to trust. You got 2 first-time starters in here. I will be the first to tell you that someone would need to hypnotize me to bet a first-time starter going long on the turf, but that might just happen tomorrow because I don't really like any of the experienced runners. I think this is a pretty, this is not meant to be derogatory to anyone at all, but I think this is a weak group for this level. And hence, like if this was a more competitive race, I don't think Tis Sunrise would ever be 2-1 in a more competitive field. And same with All in the Game. So here, I'm going to use that Carla Gaines firster. She doesn't win first out very often. I dug deep on Formulator with this one because I really wanted to find something sneaky. Look, over the last 5 years, she's 8%. She's had 59 starts, horses debuting on turf. She's got 5 wins, but they were all in turf sprints. In the last 5 years, she's only debuted 6 horses going long on turf. She hasn't won, but she did have a horse run a very good second and then come back and win his next start. But here's the thing. If you look at the sire's Liam's Map. This is not your average Calbred. Liam's Map stands for $50,000 in Kentucky. I mean, This is not, your $2,500, Calbred sire. This is a quality sire. The dam was trained by D'Amato. She was 0 for 2 on the turf, which I don't love, but she did win one race, and that came on the synth. And, it depends on where you stand. Some people think if the horse can run on synth, the horse can run on turf, but da-da-da-da. But anyway, just based on that, I think I have to use the horse. Mullins has a firster in here. Again, it's not his jam, but if you remember earlier in the meet, he had a debut winner going long on turf. I said this horse has to be a stakes horse. The way she won that day, came back, beat older winners in an N1X the next time. Quality horse. So if you have the right horse, you can get it done, right? Carla Gaines and Mullins, awesome trainers. I'm going to use both those firsters. And then the other horse I want to mention, just real sneaky, number 7, Jacqueline Lucas. This horse is a full to Johnny Padres. And Johnny Padres earned $564,000. He was an awesome turf horse. He was mostly a sprinter, but he had form around 2 turns. He was very, very versatile. She got on turf for the first time last time. I actually liked her. I bet her at 5-1. It didn't work out. She made a mess of the break. She broke from the 1 hole, throw out that race. Again, sprint around on turf, not really Miati's game, but with the right horse, fine. But what I really like, and I almost tweeted this out, but I said, you know what? I'm going to save this for the show. If you're watching the show, you get a little proprietary nugget of wisdom. And I don't know if you guys agree with me or not. I'd love to hear your opinion. I think Antonio Frezu is probably the best underrated rider we have. I mean, this dude is so good, and no one's ever like, oh, well, Frezu's riding, the horse is going to get hammered. His horses never get overbet. He always gives you an honest ride. He's super competitive. I think he rides the turf course as well as anyone, and he sticks with this horse. So I think that's the real sneaky one. And again, like I said, if I'm really tight, I can use the 10 and the 8 and then go 7, 5, 6. And, if I catch something here with the firster or with Jacqueline Lucas, maybe I do okay.
A little bit of a guessing game for Frank here to close it out. Like he said, hopefully he's got quite a few deep to had in the last leg. Skipper, do you have any strong convictions in race 10?
Yeah. The ticket that I went against Spirited Boss or wasn't going to single, I'm going to single the 10 Tis Sunrise here. And here's why. I usually don't like doing that with these types of horses. Always kind of seems to run the same race, right? Makes that move, looks like it's going to get there. Once it gets to the horses in front of it, kind of, like runs with the pack. Yeah. But this race is so bad to me. She's a 4-year-old. Most of these are 3-year-olds.
Yeah.
And her last race was her best race. Pure Chaos came out of there. I love Pure Chaos coming back, and it won a couple Saturdays ago. And I loved it that day. It came back, so that makes the race look better. 3 horses came out of that race and won. So that's a key race. And I love that. I love betting horses coming out of key races. And on my notes, I put she was right there. She was on the rail, had to pause on the far turn, finally got out, finished nicely outside with a good gallop out, comes out of a key race. And Pipey, all his horses right now are running.
Yeah.
I believe he had 1 or 2 winners today. I think she's the best of the bunch. So on one ticket, I will single where I spread in the 9th. And then the race that I single Spirited Boss, I'm going to use the 7 for all the reasons Frank said. Breaking from the rail, first time on the grass, steadied at the break, improved out that, should like the stretch out, 3rd race off the break. All in the Game is back against Cowbreds, back on the turf, back going long. The All in the Game is going to be in. First Light is going to be on my ticket. The firster for Carla Gaines. There is a little hiccup in the works, but she's still come back from February 8th to March 1st. She's come back with 7 works. So the breeding is good. Liam's Map, for all the reasons Frank said. Carla Gaines, look who jumps aboard, Joel Rosario. I tried to like the 5. I watched one of the works, and I did not like it. So I'm going to pass on the 5. And then the only other one that I'm going to use, which I don't like, but maybe putting the blinkers back on, maybe stretching this horse out, the 4, Melba Montgomery. This horse kind of looks like it just kind of has a 1 pace. So maybe the 2 turns will help her out. But my top play is the 10, and my backup ticket is going to use the 8, the 7, the 6, and the 4.
And here's where Gino would have jumped in and told us all about Melba Montgomery, but we don't have that information today.
He did on the go back to the previous show and watch. Last time this horse ran, I believe he knew. Yeah, I think we talked about Melba Montgomery. I think when she was a first time starter, I think she was on the show.
Okay,
but I can't remember who she is.
Great. Yeah. Well, remember next weekend we've got a huge weekend, Memorial Day weekend. Lots of stakes races, lots going on Sunday. We've got the Corgis. On Monday, Memorial Day, after the races, we've got the Folds of Honor poker tournament, which is always terrific. Frank, you should come out and join us. Skip and I play every year. It's a great time. So look out for next weekend. Of course, we will be back on Friday next week. So and stay tuned. Watch Double Trouble live. Frank, what's the schedule this weekend?
Yeah, we're doing Saturday and Sunday shows, both Santa and Anita. While everybody is either riding high from all the money they made in the Preakness or looking to get out, we'll just be getting started with Santa Anita. We'll play those low takeout bets to the bitter end. So join us tomorrow. You can subscribe on our YouTube channel at doubletroublelive.com. And if you want to find out our weekly schedule, lowtakeoutbets.com.
I love it. Catch them tomorrow and then catch us again next week. Gentlemen, thank you. We'll see you next Friday. Have a good weekend, everybody.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Good luck, everybody.